Hello. So what I'm going to do is focus in on data, talk about big data, talk about where the vanguard is for the big brands and the big agencies, but then try and bring it back down to how we use it for our clients, and to make it really relevant to SMEs. My first prediction is there's going to be the year is started with loads of rubbish predictions. Who cares about steampunk Victorian laptops? So there's going to be a lot of rubbish out there, but so you need to pick what you're going to bet on carefully. So I don't know if you saw in the news, maybe it's just because I'm a marketing geek I spotted this, but brands and multinationals have got a real thirst for your data, consumer data, lifestyle data, and the big brands are kind of fighting over it. And this is a story about Google snooping on iPhone's browsing data. So what brands want to do is know where you're going, know what you're looking at, know what you're interested in, so that then they can serve you advertisements and sell things to you later. And more interestingly and importantly, sell that data to advertisers. So I predict a riot in data and big data and your data in the coming year. What is big data? Boring. What it is it's data sets that are supposedly so large that they're awkward or impossible to use. So if you think about, say, Samsung Global, they've got different markets, they've got different websites, so that's what Samsung's going to be challenged with. So we'll just talk a little bit about how the big brands are dealing with it, and then, as I said, bring it back. So yeah, isn't big data, isn't data just a kind of issue faced by large brands? But they have problems too. So who's meant to be running the program with data? Is it IT? Is it marketing? There are legal issues of ownership, of swapping between brands. If you've signed up for a Galaxy phone, can you share that data with the Galaxy tablet team? There are skills gaps. Not everyone's a data expert, as most of us here aren't data experts. There's old technologies as well. Some people using old databases, some people with brand new databases, and the technology is not there to help them talk to each other. And the lack of standardization, so people not recording data in the same way. And there's a story there, making big data small. Making big data small. So if you're on the hashtag now, you should be able to see that for later. But for bigger businesses with massive amounts of technology, it's very similar to us SMEs. Where do I start? So going back, all of this kind of consumer data of who bought what started with web analytics, and it didn't start data, but it started looking at when people started trying to understand why people came to their website and then tracking them through the website. It came from there. It's called mapping the customer journey. On the right-hand side is a very simple journey of visiting the shopping cart, logging in, placing an order and completing an order. So that's a journey a customer took. But what's the path to purchase? How did that person get from surfing the internet to actually purchasing something on your website? And then tagging, have you heard of cookies? When you're on websites now, it asks whether you want to accept cookies. So how organisations track what you're looking at is placing a cookie on your website, which is a bit of code that it's not specific with your name and address on, but it's your IP or your computer, so it can track what I browse and buy, and same with you. I was looking for some new shoes, and I keep getting served ads for shoes all the time now. Have you seen how ads follow you around? Well, this is that kind of thing. And what it allows marketers to do is real-time bidding and remarketing, so that when you're looking for a new car, a new dress, that they can serve ads to you in the coming minutes, hours and days, and sometimes forever. So this is kind of the what's happening now. And again, toward the leading edge is unifying a customer profile. So it's a little bit easier for us because we've got less customers and we've got hopefully single databases, but what the big organisations are trying to do is understand who the customers are. So some simple profiling there. What is it they do when they're online, and what do they react to when you're giving them information, and their journeys through your website. And in the future, again, future gazing, probably not too far, but in the future this data will help organisations anticipate what you want and the questions you're going to ask before you ask them. So Henry talked about location data. If you're walking around Birmingham and pass a coffee shop, and often at lunchtime you want a cup of coffee with your lunch, you get served timely ads before you think you want one. Likewise, if the temperature heats up or cools down, it can predict and link together real-time information. So there's another link there that will be on the Twitter stream about advertisers profiling you and organisations. Quite a good story. Again, it's going to come back to SMEs, but this is what the big organisations are looking for is opportunities with this big data. So the 4 Rs, this is a guy from WPP, really big agency, called a chap called David Spitz. A link again there. So his thing about 4 Rs, so obviously it's about targeting the right kind of people and then evaluating the ROI, about the value, about the attribution of where spend delivers results, but also very much now the technology is not that expensive to be really relevant and personalised with your message. So based on what you're searching for today, you'll be seeing ads, you know, holiday ads, and then cars and hotels, but also the resonance, how much buzz it creates online. And there's technology out there that is quite low cost. So yeah, that's where the big guys are headed and what they're doing now. But the aim is similar to what we as SMEs are looking for. So faster and simpler marketing. Targeting the right people at the right time really reduces your marketing cost. More relevant messaging, so segmenting and delivering different messages to different people. Allows you to do better planning because you're looking at intelligence and data, trying to interpret it, delivering campaigns and messages, and then evaluating. So most people should have a website or a blog, and this is the data that you will probably own, some or all of this. Website data, so your Google Analytics, the sales data, your customer data, the market intelligence that you and your organisation gather for your sector, your target sectors, your current sectors, organisational intelligence, so the intelligence that's within the organisation, and also marketing data from your campaigns. Social media data is pretty easy to gather. Search engine data, direct, so if you send out emailers and you track them, those kind of things. So here's a quick, simple infographic about how, as an organisation, a marketing company, we use and manage data. So we have a CRM system called Microsoft Dynamics, quite cheap, £19 a month to subscribe to it, and any interaction with a prospect goes on there. We're constantly trying to build this database up, but this data is only as good and up to date as the information you put in there, so constantly needs to be worked on. And that's what we use for new business. For running campaigns and projects, we use Basecamp. So that gives us a list of tasks, to-dos. We can share content and ideas. and then attribute activities. Campaign Monitor is a distribution piece of software where we send out directed and personalised emails to segments, and then we evaluate things like open rate, click-throughs, unsubscribes, and things like that, and then we act on that data, so that's more intelligence. Analytics, so things like Hootsuite, looking at your social media activity. You can go up the scale to kind of Radian 5 or 6, I think it's 6, which is really expensive, but for small SMEs that are just looking to see which tweets get the best traction and the best interaction and the best retweets. Google Analytics, we use that a lot to see where people are coming from and how they track through our website, where we're getting drop-off from, and setting up goals and funnels like I showed you earlier, which is a conversion doesn't have to be selling a widget. It could be a sign up to your newsletter. It could be an thank you for your email inquiry. So there's a number of different conversions, but Google Analytics allows you to see where people are coming from, where they go, how long they spend, where they drop off. Things like bounce rates. So if someone leaves your website within 10 seconds, Google interprets that it's not a very relevant page. So analytics. And then Evernote. So this is where whenever someone captures a piece of news like the Google iPhone news, we store it on Evernote, which is I use it every day, from meeting notes to clipping websites, to clipping bits of web pages, to sharing, and then you tag it, and you never lose it. So unlike things like Windows where you put it in different folders, it's all saved by keyword and tags. But better than that, it can read handwriting, photographs of handwriting, it can read and search PDFs. So it's a real amazing repository for that organisational intelligence and marketing intelligence that's searchable by keyword. So broadly, they're the 5 things that we use to create and manage our data. So the challenge to us SMEs is not creating too much data that you can't handle it. Understanding who owns the data. So if you've captured data through one initiative, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can use it for another. So you need to be careful of that, but also social media data. So if an employee joins our company, gets a Nick at Big Cat Twitter handle, builds a database of followers on there, who then owns that data when Nick leaves Big Cat? So there's all these kind of data issues there as well. Really important is what is noise and what's valuable. There's so much information, but you've got to cut through of what's really useful to you, and making the data simple enough that you can actually do something with it. Think big, start small. I think that was another David Spitz thing. What you need to do is create a list, a small list of an understanding of what the opportunities are in the market with your data, and choose 1 or 2 of those to focus on. So I've done a couple of things that we would do, but it's trying to create a very small number of things that you can try out, test, evaluate, and then get better at. And all of this data, all of these analytics create a good basis for decision making, but it does not replace it.